It's a video, it's not a picture, just wave. Just wave. Say hi. Okay. What? Wait.
I'm gonna fry. Look. I don't know if this is exclusive. Usually I could get.
Oh, that's not true.
Made them skin. But I embrace this. I know.
Alright, so my parents, they are Filipino immigrants. They came to the States just for a better future. They want to have better job opportunities and to have a better future for their children. So one way I stay connected with my Filipino ties is I stay close with my Filipino community here. So one big thing that we do is we all get together, usually on the weekends, and we'll cook some traditional Filipino foods such as adobo, lechon, palabok, and anything like that. And another thing that we do is whenever we travel, so say to like Florida or Jacksonville, we will go to like Jollibee or just local community restaurants that are Filipino related, just so we get like that taste of Filipino in other areas. So another way I stay close to my Filipino heritage is through an organization on my campus at the University of South Carolina called FASA. FASA stands for the Filipino American Student Association, and I'm currently the president of it. FASA started about 2 years ago and was started from an individual named Raphael. He pretty much started it and served as president and jump-started what it is today. So in FASA, some events that we do are Masubi nights where we all just get together and we'll make Masubi and hang out. We've done karaoke nights where again we all meet up and we sing and just have a good time. And of course we talk about Filipino heritage. So during the month of October, we met up for a meeting and we talked about Filipino role models and celebrities such as Pacquiao and Bruno Mars.
Yeah, me and my parents, my entire family, we all immigrated from the Philippines to South Carolina. We immigrated because my mom got a job with like a nursing recruiting company where we would start out at a small hospital in South Carolina before going to a bigger city. And we ended up just staying in South Carolina. FASA is the Filipino American Student Association at the University of South Carolina. The club was deactivated around 2017, 2016. And in 2019 is when me and a few friends started to back up. We started with just around 10 people that I think only half of us were actually Filipino. And the other half were just our friends helping us start the club. And after that first spring club fair, we exploded to like 60 members. And we're a club, or they are a club that focuses on spreading Filipino culture, teaching its histories, and giving USC a place where Filipino Americans can come and learn about their culture and be accepted. The best way for me to stay connected to my roots was through food. My parents always made a big thing of cooking Filipino food. There's maybe like 1 or 2 days a month where we'd have American food for dinner. Most of the time, it was rice, ulam, some kind of Filipino dish that's always been on the table. And the big thing that my family would always do is like watch Bizarre Foods or Anthony Bourdain, and they'd visit, the Philippines, and then that's kind of how I got to learn about the culture, the history, seeing how many cultures influenced our food through colonization, XYZ. That's kind of the way I was able to stay connected. In my own words, to be Filipino American, it's to live with the duality of being Filipino, being American, and having to constantly choose between which way you're supposed to be going depending on what people want you to be. But what I've really come to be with for myself is that I don't fit into just one, and embracing both sides is the best way to go.
Being Filipino American to me means that finding that sense of family and connectivity in all aspects of life, whether it be through food or like sharing different beliefs just as a family, whether that is by blood or just through being Filipino. I think the main challenges that I've faced as a Filipino American is just finding that community. I think the main thing that I've struggled with is trying not to see myself as an other, even though there are places where it's really hard to feel that way. But I think that having communities that aren't necessarily just Filipino, being a part of Asian communities has really helped with that. Trying to stay in touch with my Filipino culture really is about family and staying connected to my parents, and just trying to always like stay connected through language or also food. I love the Filipino culture because of its food, and anytime that I can really just grasp that really helps. And also because I've found some people here that are Filipino here at Wofford, I try to stay connected with them as well. At church, I found people that are also Filipino, so staying connected through that food aspect as well has really been a great part of it.
My mom is a Filipino immigrant. She immigrated in the middle 1990s after marrying my dad, who's American. She immigrated to the US on a spousal visa after they got married here in the Philippines. And I say here because I'm currently in the Philippines for vacation. I stay connected to Filipino culture mainly through food and language. So my mom was always cooking Filipino food in our home, and breakfast, lunch, and dinner most of the time it was Filipino food, and it was always great. And as I grew older and I moved to college and then moved in with my dad, I had to learn then how to cook the Filipino food that I wanted, that I no longer had access to through my mom. And that's been a cool experience, asking her for Filipino recipes or looking it up, and having her share even some recipes that my Lola or my grandmother made, specific ways she cooked Filipino food. Another is language. I lived in the Philippines for 4 years during 1st through 4th grade, so I learned how to speak 2 languages, Tagalog and Visayan. And it's also been super helpful to visit the Philippines and be able to speak Tagalog or Visayan. So, yeah. Some of the biggest struggles I have faced when navigating the Filipino American identity is simply just that. How does one navigate the Filipino American identity? I think a lot of Filipino Americans are still discovering that. Probably one of the biggest struggles I've had is due to the fact that a lot of other people like to impose on me that I'm either one or the other, and that I can never be both. I can never be Filipino American. I'm either Filipina or I'm either American. I'm American to my Filipino friends, and I'm Filipino to my American friends. And I think that's largely due to just how society has been run in the past decades, and now we're learning and we're evolving, and I'm constantly reminding people that I'm Filipino American, period. I'm not Filipina, I'm not just American, I'm Filipino American, because I share all or most aspects of both identities. Yes, they're 2 different identities, but I'm Filipino American. It might not make a whole lot of sense as I explain it, but it's very much been a lived experience, in that other people just can't seem to grasp that I am Filipina American. Because at the end of the day, I'm a Filipina who has American qualities, American characteristics, and at the same time, I'm an American who has Filipino characteristics and qualities. Hence, I am Filipino American. And so navigating that imposed identity that people like to push on me or throw on me, or they like to claim the identity that they see I am enacting as in that moment, has been incredibly difficult. It all comes down to the fact that no one ever sees me as Filipino American. Somehow I'm one or the other, and I can never be both.
There's a lot of reason why I came to America. I would like to come to America just to experience what we call, living in a big city, or just have the opportunity to be here. Another one that also fascinates me was the job opportunity. I pursue a physical therapy career, and then as soon as I finished my degree, I did apply here in America, and I was accepted. Came here, passed all the examinations and requirements, and then my wife and I came here at the same time. During that time, we were not married, but we were still dating, but that was our life. There's also another thing that I was, the expectation of living in a big city and eating a great food here in America is just amazing. It's a wonderful experience. Now, living here in America, even though that you learn a lot from the American people, their traditions and culture, there's still something that we as a Filipino, that we don't forget about what happened to us and where we came from. That's our roots. So we had what we called a connection going towards the Philippines. It's just like every day I talk to my mom using FaceTime, using Facebook Messenger, updating them concerning about what happened here in America. While at the same time, they also gave me what happened to the families and all the news that would happen around our city. We Filipinos always have gatherings. We have parties that from birthdays to anniversaries. We even have gatherings almost every other week. We also do some Bible study. So we call friends around here. We have classmates that are also physical therapists that works around the area in Greenville and Spartanburg, and they would come here just to stay connected. And a lot of things can be talked during the parties. We can talk about politics in the Philippines. We talk about relationship, what happened to our parents, because our parents are also very close. Even we have friends in Georgia and Tennessee. Sometimes we get connected by going to Atlanta, eating in a restaurant, meeting there for a couple of hours just to sit down and talk. Even though that you're far, you're still connected by means of, reunions and gatherings. I think that's how we stay connected here in America.
Ito ba in English ano?
Boiled fish lagi. Ito sa imuhang lugar. Uy, taas man kay kagbuhok, di pa man kaupaw, di ka.
Atong ibutan di duguan sa din. Ang munggos di ay.
Kami ane.
Ma'am.